Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 Aussie Mac Zone. You've joined us once again here in the Aussie in the Aussie Mac Zone, and it is brought to you by Aussie Tech Heads hosting at athwebhosting.com.au and also ithelpforyou.com.au. That's IT help number 4 letter u.com.au down there in Penrith, and they'll see you right on anything you need to know about your good old Apple machine. All right, we've got a relatively quick show for you guys tonight, or this episode. Not much news around with the impending release of all the news on September 10, which is fast approaching upon us. It is fast coming, and yes, there's not much news. All the news is saved up for then. So, all right. You can catch us on, if you want to join us on the Facebook, it's facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads for previous shows, plus other stuff as well, other videos, the Aussie Tech Heads videos, and Garth's iOS reviews. It's all up there. So if you like the YouTube, please subscribe to it. We're looking to try and get to 100 subscriptions, I know, and then we can stream through YouTube Live. So we're trying to do that to see how all that works. Okay, have you got any feedback for us? Send it in to feedback@aussiemaczone.com.au. And don't forget the website. You can go straight to the aussiemaczone.com.au website and check all the goodness out. All the goodness. All right. Let's before we get into the news, let's have a quick whip around the grounds and see who we've got hosting tonight, because I'd say we're a bit light on, but anyway, I'm sure that we'll survive. Jason,
we're aiming for quality, not quantity this week. Glenn, how are you? And
That's
hey,
right.
Warlock.
Yes, good, thank you.
Joining you both again for another week of Aussie Apple news.
Yes,
we're a bit light on thanks to my diet.
Yes, and something that I think I'm envisaging to progress down that path as well. So let's hope that all works for both of us. All right, let's get straight into it. The iPhone 5S will come in gold and likely sport a fingerprint sensor. iPad iOS 7 running behind. All right, who wants to Champagne. Who wants to elaborate? Warlock? What's happening? What do you know about all this gold stuff?
Well,
gold
apparently there's going to be a bit of a up scale type exclusive type design that's going to be a bit of a champagne gold color with white trimmings around it to give something else for people to go a bit crazy about. You know, before we had the black and everybody had a black iPhone, and then the white came out and suddenly it was scarce and nobody could get one. It was the most sought after thing. Most popular thing in the world because nobody could get one and everybody wanted one. So same sort of thing is happening again, only this time with the more goldy, champagne-y type color.
Yeah, nice. So look, normally the iPhones have come out, just in black and white. It was black for ages with the 3 and the 3GS. And then when did the white start? Must have been about the 4 or even the 4S.
Yeah, it took them ages to get it to work because the white plastic and the white coloring kept on fading. Or turning a brownie color, so they had to keep on going until they could find the right materials that would last a lot longer.
Good. So now they got the gold, so that'll make people happy. And the fingerprint scanner, Jace, what's that? That's a definite, apparently. Is this true?
Yeah, that looks to be a definite. I mean, there's just too many reports around now, and on top of all the speculation that it's absolutely going to be there. And where people have been talking about, well, why hasn't it shown up in prototypes, etc. There's even, further rumours and I guess analysts talk around that where these scanners were externally tested over a cable system. It wasn't integrated into the actual test hardware they were using, but it just appears so likely now. There's just so much discussion. And I think, Warlock, you were saying there was something around the Mayor of Bloomberg, was it, that there was someone there who maybe was privy to some information that shouldn't have opened their mouth.
Yeah, there was an advisor to the mayor of New York City, Mayor Bloomberg, and he was saying, they wanted to, for the type of projects and lower cost housing, they wanted to make sure that there was less crime there, so they were going to scan people's fingerprints as a security measure so that only the people who live there could get in, and apparently people were complaining about that, and so this advisor had said to the mayor of New York City, "Oh, don't worry, everything's going biometric these days. Even the new Apple iPhone's got fingerprint scanning."
So obviously,
yeah,
Mayor,
like,
Mayor Bloomberg was
huh?
privy to something. Maybe New York City's put in a big order, so
You never.
Mayor knows
I
something.
would expect so. No
Yeah.
news if it's coming to the iPad or anything, but most definitely it seems it's coming to the iPhone, and hopefully it'll give a bit more security. They seem to be getting even more into security for the iPhone, and I guess if you've got a fingerprint scanner, so the device will only work with your fingerprint unless you specifically unlock it before you sell it, or if it's locked to your account with your Apple ID plus your fingerprint, if somebody steals it and there's no way, even if they wipe it, because the device ID and your fingerprint and the Apple ID are all linked together, then there's no point in stealing it because you can't resell it or use it anyway. It just becomes a dead piece of electronics.
Mm.
Well, pretty compelling for Apple too. I mean, in that identity space, where there's a rush for people to own that space, and I guess with the ecosystem they've got, if they come up with the right technical product where, hey, the Apple device and the fingerprint reader are really trusted as a means of identifying people, the implications there for identifying yourself for online transactions, for payments, etc. It's a huge win for whoever cracks that one first. So if Apple get there, a la where they struck gold with the music industry with iTunes, digital ID would be many times larger than that. So it will be interesting to see how it all works.
So
everyone's got their credit card number, and nobody wants to type their credit card number into a website. I know if I can, I'll try and find some way of getting whatever I want and pay for it using PayPal if possible.
Yeah, I do the same.
Because I don't want to give people out my credit card and type them into websites all the time. I mean, as I was said before, I had my credit card details stolen one time, and a guy in Austin, Texas bought himself a nice new car stereo. And I still got them to refund that, but I still had to pay for the foreign transaction fee of $9.
That's right. We were
So
talking about last week.
The more secure you get, the better it's going to be. And if I was listening to other podcasts and people saying, well, if it's just going to be an Apple exclusive thing, you're missing out on a lot of people. But it's not that they're not going to be able to buy something. They can still fall back to their credit card or PayWave or FPOS or whatever. But if this gives another way of people buying, and they can just go in somewhere and scan their phone or run their finger over something after scanning it or whatever, then it's just another extra payment eventually. Maybe.
Yeah, well, it's also they can't buy an iPhone too and become part of the system.
How come they can do it? I want to be able to do it. Well, get yourself an iPhone then.
Do we know if this fingerprint scanner is going to be across the all potential models, as in the 5S and the 5C? Or is it just restricted to the S?
Maybe it's a champagne moment.
With it. Well, it could
only
be
for upper class, thank you very much. If you've got a Amex black card or platinum or something. Maybe
that's what it is. You've hit the nail on the head. It's champagne. You can spell it with a C or an S. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the S is for champagne.
That's right. Yeah, hallelujah. We've got it. And the iPad iOS 7 delay. Jason, what's happening with that?
Well, there's many developers, basically commenting that the iOS 7 builds for iPad feel unstable and unreliable, especially when compared to the iPhone optimized betas. And so there's chatter and speculation now around the September event being for iPhone and potentially the iPad release of iOS 7 not being until maybe later September, October, and that aligning to the iPad hardware. So maybe we've got lots of events to look forward to. September might only be iPhone, and we might have iPad following up later down the track.
Well,
so
just an excuse for another party, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Split it up, have the MacBook Pros with the iPads and the iPhones on their own.
Yeah. Now, Apple asks Foxconn to ship high and low end phones in early September. So Apple has asked Foxconn to begin shipping new high in early September, claims the Wall Street Journal. So the Wall Street Journal, is that that'd be respected? I respect that. Respected.
Yeah, I think they're one of those people that have got an inside connection, I think. So
yeah,
their stories are fairly fairly reliable and fairly credible. And I guess this just contributes to everything again, being that, September seems to be the date. So, if we have a September 10 launch, expectations will be that it'll be shipping before the end of September, out in stores, and everyone can go and grab their, lower cost 5C for the kids and pick yourself up a champagne 5S. And
yeah, sorry.
Just on that, I think one of the other things is, with the S models, there's not much previously, there hadn't been much to differentiate, so the 4 and 4S of, hey, I've got the new model, I need to show it off. It's probably a smart move on Apple's part that if Champagne's obviously only available on a 5S, and it means you've got the 5S as compared to a 5, it still might be something there that's helping to drive sales. As Warlock was saying, a little bit like the black MacBooks and various things that have happened over time where there's been the special colour, to demonstrate maybe a bit of elitism. So,
well, I tell you, there's not too many more shows before the big launch, and I believe the launch or the big event is on Wednesday morning our time, which is just misses out on the weekly Aussie Mac Zone. So we're thinking, around about in that week, we might be postponing it on Tuesday night and maybe doing it on a Wednesday night, just to bring you guys all the latest info. But stay tuned, because we'll get to that. So that might be what happens. Okay, so if we're not in your download box in straight away in a Wednesday or two time, you'll know. Think back and say, oh, that's right, Glenn said might be delayed one day. All right. Now,
to the Oracle Glenn.
That's right. Now, the rear shell of the silver iPad 5 appears in some new photos. Does it ever stop? All these leaks and stuff. Steve Jobs would be turning in his grave, wouldn't he? Geez, he thought the bar stool was bad enough, but no, here we go. The images appear to show a silver casing. There we go, silver casing, and are also consistent with a previous report that the next generation full-sized iPad would use the same touch panel technology like that of the current generation iPad mini to achieve a smaller size. The images also show a rear shell for an iPad mini, although it's unclear whether the part is intended to be for the current iPad mini or a second generation model. Oh, there's a lot of iPad minis in there, isn't there? And,
you know what, though? Having a lot of people at the moment saying Apple can't innovate, Apple's not doing anything new, there's nothing exciting coming from Apple because they're so super extra tight with their security, especially Tim Cook was saying that at his recent shows that they want absolutely nothing to escape. It's like they've got everything inside a little
wasn't it?
Yeah, airtight device, airtight box that they're going to make things in with no light escaping or anything. That just when you're getting pretty close to the supposed launch date of the device, that you might let out a few controlled rumors, just so
it's funny how they leak out.
People are running out of rumors. Maybe we should give them something extra to talk about, just so we can keep the hype going for another few weeks. And
yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, look, here's the back of something that just managed to accidentally escape from our super high controlled security area. I wonder how that happened.
But could you imagine on September 10 or after the launch that there's this big door that opens up in the Apple building, and all these pale white people just crawl out. Oh, the sun.
We haven't seen it for so
I'm
long.
burning.
We've been locked away.
I've been taking vitamin D tablets every day.
Yeah, so it's just like a little escapism of all these white people that are just blistering instantly in the sun. They've been locked up for so long.
I believe Apple could afford to have their own tanning salon on campus, so people might be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to keep the rumors even a bit quieter, if you suddenly see all these super pale people walking around, you go, I wonder what's going on there, but keep them in the tanning booths,
Yeah.
flip them over every half hour and they'll be right.
That's right. And round them all back up because we've got the iPhone 6 next year. All right.
Yep.
Get back inside. You've had your 10 minutes. Mac sales remain flat in July. 5% year-over-year drop expected for September. Now, is this in line with the fall of general PC sales? I don't know.
It's probably less than general PC sales, I think. They haven't been very healthy as of late. And really, it's only been the last couple of quarters that Apple Mac sales have actually started to decline. Apple held off that trend fairly well. But, to be expected. People are moving to mobile devices. So, it's just a general trend, I think, away from the laptops and desktops to some form of tablet. So in the Apple world, an iPad. Obviously, there's a lot you can do with a phone these days. So potentially people are putting off replacing the desktop PC because, let's face it, if most people are just doing a bit of Facebooking and email and that, your phone does perfectly fine as well. So.
Well, I think that's all that most people use their PC for. That it's an extension of the internet, and if you can wrap that extension up into a nice little tablet or a phone, a phablet, which you can throw in your pocket and walk the streets with, that's a lot better.
If it wasn't for Minecraft and this show, I wouldn't need a desktop PC. The only two things I really use my desktop for these days is streaming this show and playing Minecraft. That's it.
Yeah, right. No, I'm full on into the desktop. I use mine all the time. I use if I'm not using the desktop, I use the phone. I don't use the iPad as much though. I suppose surprisingly, I just find that at the office, I'm desktop, and on the go, iPhone, sitting watching TV, iPhone. So
probably need to reboot your iPad and iPhone a bit less than you've had to reboot your desktop lately.
You might be right. And yes, Warlock's having a go that I have got a Windows desktop. Now, okay, so I think, did we finish that? I think so. So yeah, Mac sales are down. But look, these things happen, These things happen. Apple takes more customers from Samsung than Samsung does Apple. Well. Who's in that? Who wants to do that one? Well, it's only a quick one anyway. I'll do it. A new study from CIRP, whatever that is. I'm sure.
It sounds official, doesn't it?
It does.
They forgot the H. It should be chirp.
That's right, chirp.
From Twitter.
I'm sure our smart listeners can Google that if they're really interested in what CIRP is. But anyway, a new study from CIRP, reported by Fortune, shows Apple winning 3 times as many smartphone customers away from Samsung as Samsung does from Apple. How is this measured, do you think? How does CIRP know that a person was going to buy Samsung but is now going back to buy Apple? How does that work?
I think maybe it's people who've transitioned from a Samsung device to an Apple device. They've had Samsung in the past and now they've got an Apple device for the future.
Yeah, I think it looks like they've gone out and spoken to people who are buying new smartphones, and I guess the key thing there was, as Warlock says, they went from a Samsung to a iPhone when they did their change, and vice versa. And I guess in the sample there, where they've seen people change, as opposed to iPhone, Android to Android, what the relative changeover was, and I think it was on about a 3-to-1 margin, wasn't it? That Samsung users would.
Now Samsung is the market leader. It's not quite as big a difference if they're taking 3 times as much from a larger market into the smaller one as it would be going the other way.
Do you think that there's much pressure on Apple? I suppose, like, when you look through the Audi catalogue this week, you see a tablet, 8. I think it was an 8.
Oh,
8
in the
inch
supermarket, I thought you're looking at an R8 or something like that. what Audi are you going to buy?
Oh yeah, the Audi.
Just browsing the Audi catalogue and working out what car I'm going to buy this week.
The Audi catalogue that comes through my mailbox each week.
They got everything else at Aldi. They might as well start doing cars.
That's right.
Like Costco.
Yeah, well, they got these Android tablets there for what, $169.
You wouldn't buy one.
No. Look, I've got the iPad. I'm totally happy. I'm in the Apple ecosystem there. Like, love the iPhone, love the iPad. It's just the things just work, Like, I've been into the Samsung camp, and I didn't actually like it. And I spent probably 23 months there too long, waiting for my contract to finish. And now, I'm all good. But anyway,
I was going to say, sorry, just on the thing of the contracts. Did you see the last couple of days the stories about Kogan and the deal with
ISP
Telstra, or was via other ISP One was all falling apart. So that's obviously bitten a few people, because I personally know a lot of people who sign up for the 365 day offer and One of my friends today got an email saying, "You've got 7 days to transition to another carrier or your number's going." So I think people are frantically out there trying to find a new provider.
Yeah, I think that Telstra should probably try and look after them a bit better than that. I know Optus is coming in, trying to, shining knight and all this sort of stuff in silver armor or whatever.
Boosters got a discount on at the moment, I think half price for theirs, but then Boosters a Telstra product, so they're never going to have a problem and they're not going to go away.
Yeah, so I don't know. Look, there's some issues over there, but look, that's probably a story that's going to be brought up on Thursday episode of Aussie Tech Head. So make sure you tune in for that, and that is also live at aussietechheads.com.au /
Yeah, that one is
live. Look, sometimes you might join into the live stream and it might not be there. It's because at the moment, for some reason, the things are a bit complicated trying to stream.
It sounds like you've got a bit of a cough there. It's a bit cold down there.
Oh, it's a real nasty one.
Yeah, look, I'm going to put in another good couple of hours
this week. Got a virus from the Windows.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. But anyway, look, it's look, I do use a Windows machine to stream, and for some reason, nothing changes. It's a separate install. It's a clean install. That's all it's used for. This install, it's on a separate hard drive. It's not virtual. Nothing's on a different hard drive. And from one show to the next, something changes. I don't know. But anyway, that's my problem. Not yours. That's right.
So there's something we still haven't heard anybody talking much lately about whether there's going to be a Retina iPad Mini. What do you guys think? I'm quiet on that front.
Yes.
That's all iPhone champagne colours and stuff. But
maybe another reason why they're delaying the iPad event, maybe in separating them, just give a little bit more time to work out what they're going to do there.
Look,
I've sorted out.
For me, for mine, I think the iPad like the screen clarity is good enough. I know the Retina display is really, really good, but for me, I'd probably like to see a little bit more, innovation or an upgrade in another area. Not camera. I'm happy with the camera. I don't use the camera on the iPad, front or back, unless
you want a champagne iPad. That's your problem.
Yeah, unless I'm
that'll fix you up. Innovation out the wazoo for that one.
Yeah, but if they come out with the fingerprint thing, that's good enough. NFC, that's fine. But we'll see. But anyway, let's move on. I was going to tell you about because I was telling you about the other shows, wasn't I? So the AussieTechRadio.com. Don't forget that. That's also about 24/7 tech shows on the Shoutcast, and you can tune in for that at AussieTechRadio.com. Download the Shoutcast app, search for Aussie Tech Heads, and you'll find the stream. And giddy up. Now, thanks to IT Help for You and the guys down there, we have a listener question. Now, we pick out, you guys, I know you guys are fanatics, sending poor Jason and Warlock all these questions. So each week we're going to go through and we find one, and IT Help for You helps us get the answer to you. So they're authorised Apple dealer, reseller, whatever you want to call them. They're down there in Penrith, in Sydney Way, and they're also trying to get a preview going for the new Jobs movie. So jump onto their webpage. If you're interested in the movie, go to the AMZ menu item and you can register your interest. And then if they can get a group of people enough, the cinema will, hold a nice little event. But you got to register interest so the guys know how many people are interested and if this can be done. But other than that, the question this week, Matt. Oh, here we go. Matt from Planet Earth. So obviously he's an Earthling. What's the easiest way to... Why can't we find out where these people live? Where are you, Matt? I'd like to know. What's the easiest way to take a screenshot of my Mac? I've used Grab app, but it's a bit annoying just to get a quick screenshot. Is there any faster way? Jason, is there a faster way?
There absolutely is. I'm glad you asked. Matt. So on the Mac, it's fairly easy to grab some screenshots. So we'll drop these in the show notes. But essentially, it's around the Command key. So the old Apple key for those that might notice that. Shift, and if you do Command, Shift, and 3, you can snapshot the full screen. So a bit like the print screen on Windows. But if you do Command, Shift, 4, and this is the really well, the one I use and the bit that I really like, you can actually take a snapshot of the selective screen. So you can use your mouse to actually select a portion of the screen to grab. And I know back in my Windows days, I had to get software for that. So something like Snagit and that, and it was all, you have to use another app to do it. On the Mac, it's just there and works. So if you get really tricky, you can do a Command-Shift-4 and the space bar, if you can sort of jungle all your fingers together, and that will take a screenshot of Windows. You can flick between windows to grab a specific application or open window. But we'll drop those in the show notes, and straight out of the box, it does it all.
Nice. So okay, so can you? So that's a screen grab. So I guess for those that don't know, that will put it into the clipboard, and then you can paste it into another program, email.
Also do screenshot
whatever.
to the desktop.
What do you mean?
By default, it'll actually drop those onto the desktop.
Okay.
If you want to add another key combination to this, if you hold down the control key with the Command Shift and 3 or 4 key, it will put it to the clipboard as opposed to just dropping these images on the desktop. But we'll pop all that in the show notes, so that will.
And you push the asterisk on the keypad with your left toe, you will get another thing entirely.
And you use your nose for the.
That's right. All right, so that's good. So thanks, Matt from Planet Earth. Hopefully
he's out there somewhere.
He is out there. Woo, I hope you haven't got a tin hat on. Now, I hope that answers it. If it doesn't, blame Jason. But I'm sure that does. Look, that's good. That's very succinct and fulfilling for me.
Well, it's pity though that Matt didn't leave his proper details, because he could have been the winner of the $20 iTunes voucher.
Well, that's right.
As last week's question of the week was. So
that's right. So yeah, sorry, Jace, you go.
I was going to say, send them in.
Yep, so we'll excuse me. We'll be having a look again tonight, and if there's been any more iTunes reviews, well then ithelpforyou.com.au generously going to send a lucky reviewer or questionnaire a nice little $20 iTunes card, and get in, because it doesn't go every week. It doesn't last forever. All right. Now, Jason, you've also got a cool app of the week. What
I dropped one in there. Well, one that I've been playing around with called Splash Color. So I don't know if you've seen, I guess, arty photography, or even sometimes on the TV ads where you'll have, essentially a black and white scene, but there'll be one object that's in color. And so you think, how would that be done apart from spending many hours in Photoshop playing around with layers and masks and all of that funky stuff? You can now, for 99 cents in the App Store, get an app called Color Splash, or Splash Color, sorry, and you can open a photo from your camera roll or shoot a new image within the app, and the photo will appear entirely in grey or in black and white, and you can essentially select the portion where you want to add the colour back in. So it has like a little paintbrush, and you can go and just select a section on the screen to go and do. So it's a bit of fun to play around with. You can end up with some quite clever looking shots there, and all your friends will wonder how you did it.
Yeah, well, that's magic. Right. Yes. Look, I was just going to say that brings me to a conclusion that I had not too long ago, and that was, you sit down, you think, I want to do this, or I want to do a graphic like this, or I want to do this to an image or whatever. Now you can sit down, in Photoshop, and you can Google, how do I do a brushstroke in Photoshop, or how do I turn black and white to color, as in what Jace was just saying, and how do I do this, or how do I make a mosaic, and all this sort of stuff. Well, there's apps out there. Some are free, some are 99 cents, and some of them are just brilliant. I downloaded some sort of make your own game app, the other day, and very, very rudimentary and basic. But I'm gonna try and do it one day and just use it as like a segment header for the show. or something like this, for the video part of it. Whereas, like you could just have, I could have a little image of Jace Warlock and myself all talking, a little cartoony style game character thing, and it looked cool. And this is all like, a bit of hard work and maybe 99 cents. That's a lot better than going out and buying some sort of, big whopping $250 program, make your own game platform.
Or renting Photoshop by the hour, as you have to do these days.
Well, that's right. Photoshop and what else? They've got, the whole cloud is rented by the hour, isn't it? Adobe Cloud. But anyway, that's what they want to do. But other apps that I find interesting, one I'm not sure if I've mentioned or not before, but I use this all the time. And it's probably a couple of bucks as well. Where is it now? It's in my little thing here. And it's not. It used to be. But anyway, it's called where is it? It's on my iPad. I know I use it on the iPad all the time. Because when when you're doing work for people, you want to know how many hours it's taking you and so forth. And so there's a good little hour tracker, if you want to, if that's what you want to call it. It's called Hours Tracker. Now I bought there is a free version, but I did buy it. I think it was a couple of bucks, and look, it's great. There's a one-touch clock on, one-touch clock off. You can pre-program it for different jobs, different hourly rates, and I mean, like it's just like playing chess with a professional, isn't it? Just clock in, clock off. When it's your move, bang, 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 and at the end you can get reports out of it. Weekly reports, monthly reports, yearly reports. You can back it up all to the cloud, which is good. Just in case something happens to your iPad or your iPhone. So it's that's a good little app. I like that one. Hours Tracker. I use that all the time. So it's a beauty. It's a beautiful one. So get on board. And don't forget, if you want to get some apps, and you can join us on facebook.com/Aussie Tech Ads. And every day there is an iOS app that normally you pay for, but on that particular day, when you see it, it's free. But you got to get it on that day, because these apps only last for 24 hours or thereabouts in a free mode. And if you want to know what they are, and the ones that I pick out, I think probably the ones I go for, mainly productivity, utilities, there's a lot of image making apps out there. Sometimes that's all there is. It's just image making apps after image making apps. But other than that, maybe every now and then, if it's just more image apps for that day, I'll just pick the game out or something like that. So there's everything. So have a look at that. That's all. That's good. Facebook.
I do have another tip,
yes,
Glenn. So I'm sitting here looking at Twitter. If you don't have a digital radio and you want to listen to ABC Jazz, which is a digital station, you can ring iiNet at the moment. So that's maybe only for people who are on the live stream, because I got 7 minute hold times at the moment. So you can enjoy some ABC Jazz. If you don't have digital radio.
Nice. And
so see, we're latest with the news and tips here.
That's right, yeah. So that is jazz. I love it. Elevator music. Why not? Now, okay. So we've done the question. That's good. We've done all that. Well, we're running out of things to do, and look, we're nearly to the end of the show. Warlock, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Have you come across anything this week that was particularly intrigued you? Anything like that?
For me, I think things are going to be a bit quiet in the Apple zone for a while until the 10th. So. Maybe we'll get a few more.
It explodes with champagne goodness.
Unofficial leaks or something might happen. Who knows?
Yes, and so
the court will pop on September 10.
Yeah, well, the thing you want to do is the same as they did with the Wii to make it look like that it's the most demanded product on the earth. You release a very limited number of them, and then go, right. They're all sold out. You have to wait till the next run, and then every single person wants to buy it. You buy it on eBay for couple of $1,000s or something.
There's a shortage.
Everybody wants the exclusive one.
There's a shortage on screens, and then everyone goes, that's going to affect the iPhone.
Shortage?
Yes. That's because Tim Cook has got 3 garages full.
Everyone in the world. Yeah.
That's right. And he's going to drip feed them to us. All right. So you might be wondering, and very remiss of me, not to mention, where's Garth this week? Garth couldn't be with us tonight, so he'll be back next week. So stay tuned in next week for Garth. Everyone can be contacted at their name at aussiemaczone.com.au. For example, Glenn at aussiemaczone.com.au, Warlock at aussiemaczone.com.au, Jason with a Y, Garth, he's all there. And so that's sweet. Jace, where can we find you in the Twitterverse?
At Jason Wormsley.
And Warlock, where are you where do you live in the Twitterverse?
Warlock, WAULOK, Warlock.
And I'm at Aussie Tech Heads, and Garth is at Blind Tech. And sometimes Eric, when he's on the show, he can be found at Eric Franco, Eric with a K. All right, that's thanks for that edit. And the bandwidth.
So was brought to you by the numbers 2 and 7 and the letter Q.
Exactly. Now these are all on the video. There we go. We have got a graphic for all those. Don't forget the YouTube, Aussie Tech, youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also, look, just tell us how the show's going. It's episode 10. And, it's been going for 10 weeks. It's double figures. It's maturing, hopefully. Tell us.
Need 8 more subscribers.
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah. And then we can... 8, and then we can start streaming live through YouTube. All right. Now... Yeah, fingers crossed.
Don't jinx us, man. Don't jinx us.
I know. Look, I don't know what happens. Fair dinkum, I don't know what happens with this streaming software. But anyway, yeah, that's it. What have we got? Any more graphics here to show? I think we're it. No, that's it. Only thanks
Well, we might be done.
Thanks to athwebhosting.com.au. If you're looking for a nice little web host, or you want to move from somewhere where you're not getting very good service, your site might be down, it might be slow all the time, and not performing as good as you want. Oh, these sites are on the athwebhosting.com.au. They're snappy like a crocodile.
You know what I like about that graphic you got there?
What's that?
cPanel hosting. I'll never host anywhere that does not have cPanel. I swear.
No, I've tried.
The best thing ever. It's awesome.
Yes, I've. I haven't tried too many, but I have tried. I did give Plesk a go.
And then you shot yourself in the head and got cPanel.
Yes, just simple, basic things, with cPanel that are just great. For example,
Fantastico.
Yes, Fantastico, or
They've got a new one now, haven't they?
Installatron, or I can't even pronounce the other one with Softaculus or something like that.
Softaculus.
That's the one. Is that how it is? Yeah, right. Okay.
Oh, why not?
Why not, indeed. But yeah, cPanel hosting. You can sign up with the athwebhosting.com.au, and it's instant setup for the cPanel domains. Depends what you want, but most of the time it's instant setup of everything, and you get a temporary URL, and away you go. You're straight off the mark, straight like that. In under, I don't know, you pay your PayPal, and you're probably up and running. You can have something up on the net, realistically, probably under 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So, how good's that?
Register champagneiphone.com.au now. Get in early.
That's right.
Probably already gone, I would say.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Oh, champagne iPhone. Love it. All right. Well, that's the end of the show. So thanks for joining us in for another episode of Aussie Mac Zone, episode 10. So we'll be back next week when it'll be episode 11. Geez, things are rolling along. So if you don't forget to send us in a question, don't forget to do the iTunes review and have a chance to win the 20 buckaroonie iTunes gift voucher from IT Help for You. So until next week, bye Jace, bye Warlock.
Nice one, boys. See you next week.
Thank you. And we'll see you there too. See you later, zoners. Bye-bye.